The Mantra Meditation by Venerable Rung Ruang Papas Saro, Dr. Rung Ruang Lim Chupatipa. In ancient times, when religions were based on the belief in gods, typically a religious meditation was the way to have conferences with gods or spirits so that the gods or spirits would bless them with prosperity and well-being. This traditional meditation technique is performed by reciting a short sacred word like the name of God to keep the mind focusing on the specific word. This kind of meditation is called mantra magic meditation, which is believed to bring some kinds of supernatural powers, such as seeing heaven or hell, and to be able to communicate with spirits or gods. This mantra meditation technique is very popular among religious practices, and different religions apply their own specific sacred words when reciting or praying. By doing so, the mind is forced into a subconscious level like absorption. In fact, the Buddha also had experienced this kind of mantra meditation as well, but he criticized that the mantra meditation could only calm the mind. Some of these teachings are good things at the level of morality, but still, it is not fully complete, because it could not abandon any kinds of unwholesome thought or unwholesome phenomenon happening inside the mind. That is, the mind dwelled in absorption and was stranded there without mindfulness to learn what the mind and its functions were doing. Therefore, he concluded that this mantra meditation was not the path to enlightenment for wisdom development as follows.
The Buddha questioned the Brahmin students that if there is anyone who sees the Dharma of the mantra of Brahma as claimed before, and no one can answer. And then the Buddha asked further if, counting up to 7 generations backward, then if there was anyone who ever saw the Dharma of the mantra of Brahma as well. And the answer is no. Therefore, the Buddha concluded that this kind of belief that are passed from ancient of the mantra of Brahma can be compared like several blind people queuing up in a line. The first person does not see anything, but telling the story to the next one. Along the path of this telling story from the first one to the last one in the line, no one has ever seen the truths of nature. Then how can they explain what is right or wrong? Saying my teachings are correct, and the others are not correct. The Brahmin student Subha asks the Buddha, Master Gautama, name of the Buddha, I have heard that the ascetic Gautama knows the path to the company of Brahma, ancient Hindu. What do you think, student? Is the village of Nakra near here, not far from here? Yes, sir. The village of Nakra is near here, not far from here. What do you think, student? Suppose there was a man born and raised in the village of Nakra, and as soon as he had left Nakra, they asked him about the path to the village. Would that man be slow or hesitant in answering? No, Master Gautama. Why is that? Because that man has been born and raised in Nakra and is well acquainted with all the paths to the village. Still, a man born and raised in the village of Nakra might be slow or hesitant in answering when asked about the path to the village, but a Tathagata, when asked about the Brahman's world or the way leading to the Brahman's world, would never be slow or hesitant in answering. I understand Brahma, and I understand the Brahman's world, and I understand the way leading to the Brahman's world, and I understand how one should practice to be reborn in the Brahman's world. Master Gautama, I have heard that the ascetic Gautama teaches the path to the company of Brahma. It would be good if Master Gautama would teach me the path to the company of Brahma. Then, student, listen and attend closely to what I shall say. Yes, sir, he replied. The Blessed One said this. What, student, is the path to the company of Brahma? Here a monk dwells, pervading one quarter with a mind imbued with loving kindness, likewise the second, likewise the third, and likewise the fourth. So above, below, around, and everywhere, and to all as to himself, he dwells pervading the all-encompassing world with a mind imbued with loving kindness, abundant, exalted, immeasurable, without hostility, and without ill will. When the liberation of mind by loving kindness is developed in this way, no limiting action remains there. None persists there. Just as a vigorous trumpeter could make himself heard without difficulty in the 4 quarters, so too, when the liberation of mind by loving kindness is developed in this way, no limiting action remains there, and none persists there. This is the path to the company of Brahma. Again, a monk dwells pervading one quarter with a mind imbued with compassion, with a mind imbued with altruistic joy, with a mind imbued with equanimity. Likewise the second, likewise the third, and likewise the fourth. So above, below, around, and everywhere, and to all as to himself, he dwells pervading the all-encompassing world with a mind imbued with equanimity, abundant, exalted, immeasurable, without hostility, and without ill will. When the liberation of mind by equanimity is developed in this way, no limiting action remains there. None persists there. Just as a vigorous trumpeter could make himself heard without difficulty in the four quarters, so too, when the liberation of mind by equanimity is developed in this way, no limiting action remains there, and none persists there. This too is the path to the company of Brahma. The company of Brahma is based on beliefs that passed from people in the past, such as performing mantra meditation, keeping celibacy, giving away to others, and learning the mantra. Some of these teachings are good things at the level of morality, but still, it is not fully complete. In comparison, the Buddha's teachings are based on the truths of life within nature. Whatsoever I tell you, you can investigate and verify if it is true or not just believe. They are well explained by experiencing nature as it really is. For example, when I explain to you that an unwholesome mind is essentially like a fire, it is really as it is. Then I explain to you that the cause of the light is due to the burning of dry wood. Then I teach you how to extinguish the fire so that the mind can be calm in peace. So, I explain to you in a full systematic way for the cessation of all suffering in life. In my teachings, I also accompany you with how to perform a Buddhist practice. The purpose of the practice is to teach you how to abandon the arising unwholesome mind, starting with abandoning the 5 hindrances by establishing mindfulness with attention on wholesome. And then after being able to abandon the 5 lower fetters, the mind will enter upon and dwell in the first jhana. By this time, the mindfulness is developed to be purified mindfulness, and you can apply the purified mindfulness for insight observation to gain wisdom, and by using this knowledge for the cessation of all defilements within the mind, and then finally making use of this wisdom to purify the mind will be liberated. These are the courses of the Buddhist practice. The Buddhist teachings are well explained, and since you have mindfulness throughout the practice, then you can realize what is happening inside the mind, and by following in accord with the Buddhist teachings correctly, then the mind will be developed step by step till the mind is purified and liberated. The success in Buddhist practice of mindfulness meditation is well verified by the Dharma by seeing what the mind really is in terms of the processes and its associated states of mind. This is the true knowledge that we can make use of to abandon any arising unwholesome mind and cleanse all the unwholesome thoughts of the 5 lower fetters along the courses of thought. While the Brahmin practice of mantra meditation can only temporarily calm the mind for a while, and the mantra is sort of forcing the mind to be in a certain basis, such as the base of the infinity of space, the base of emptiness, etc., which is considered a kind of supernatural power. Clearly, the mantra meditation cannot abandon any kind of the unwholesome thought of the 5 lower fetters, and definitely it is not the way to enlightenment to see the insight for wisdom development.